This is a rare occurrence here. You just get me and Frank shooting off of each other here. But welcome. Again, if you are new here watching, we do this daily around noon during the work week. This is for agents, by agents. It's for clients. It's for anybody on Medicare. It's anybody thinking about becoming an agent. We really go over kind of the trial and tribulations, not only of the Medicare industry, not only of getting people approved, but we go over it as agents and our own experiences and our own tales and our own opinions too. So for today, we've kind of got a twofer thing, but first I want to go off on a rant here that I warned Frank about. There's just no urgency in employees anymore, is there? I remember back, and this is going to sound terrible as I'm 29, but I remember back in my day where if I was told to do something, or if I was going to do something, it gets done right away. If I told you, hey, I need you to call this person, you said, okay, I'm going to call them right now. My phone is available. I'm not going to wait 30 minutes. Or, hey, you got me for a sliver of time here. You got me for 3 minutes. It better be the most important sentences you have, since I have 3 minutes. Don't waste my time. I feel like it's I don't know if it's society in general or some, but I feel like there's no urgency out there. There's no adjustment for time. What do you think about that?
Man, this is an argument that's been had by every subsequent generation since generations were a thing, right? And it's not a new thing. It's not this generation. It's an individual basis, and the people that generally notice it are the people that, at that point in their life, they finally gotten to where they got their shit together. So that happens a lot faster for some, right? But there's always been sayings that boy got a lot of quit in them. Hurry up and wait. All these other things that are out there. They're older than your grandpa and your grandpa's grandpa, right? That's, again, populations are just like that. So the issue is that what you're running into, it's not a generational thing. This generation isn't any different than other generations. It's an individual thing, right? Right now it's AEP. You got people that have some issues going on. You got people that have lives going on. You got people that just don't understand and have their stuff together, realize priority. You and I had a little bit of a different upbringing. We suffered a lot of pain. We had a lot of damage, right?
That's right.
A lot of physical shit going on, and when that stuff kind of happens to you when you're younger, you realize you have to get stuff done. You have to take care of your stuff. That's why I fit in really well when I was in the Marines, right? Because, by that time, I'd already broken most of my bones, had a lot of skin ripped off my face at one point during an accident, and had to learn how to talk again. And those kind of things kind of harden someone. You've similar things with your health background. It's the trials and tribulations that you go overcome and learn how to overcome that really steel you to handling things quickly and efficiently, because you don't have time to worry about the little stuff, because you don't know when the major stuff happens, and you prep for the major stuff. So the problem is that sense of urgency is something that is not observed and learned, it's experienced and learned. So a lot of these people just don't have it. A lot of them never get it, right? So it's an individual basis, man. It's not the youth of today, right?
I think what a lot of it has to do with is not only urgency, but you have to see opportunity that's in front of you. Because just like take AEP for example, I got a list of opportunity at my desk that I got to call back already for today. We had a little short meeting after our meeting here this morning. I got out of here at 8:30, and I think I went to the bathroom once and I've gotten water once. That's it. Why? Because there's urgency. Because it's not only because it's AEP, but AEP makes people call you. I haven't made one outbound call today because of the inbound that I'm getting of just people calling in. Me and Christopher have been on the phone with the same 3 people, which is, I was going to say Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but it's Father, Mother, and Son. Son has an Advantage plan. Mom and Dad have supplemental plans. So we've been going through 6 different policies here for the past 2 hours, going into Sunfire, doing everything like that. Now, we're not rushing through it.
No.
Because you love the one you're with, and I even told them that too, because they've been trying to get a hold of somebody here in the office and they just haven't called back. And so then finally I was like, you know what, I'll call him. I'll do it. And he was like, he was a little wary at first. I was like, look, you get me here. Okay. For the time being here, we're a little swamped. I might have somebody help me out like Christopher, but you're still going to have me. I'm going to be here for you. I'll pick up the phone. I'll be your guy. So from there, I told him too, I was like, well, then if we're going to do this correctly, we need to go over everything possible.
Right.
Because you're not new to us. You're new to me. And I don't know your situation. I don't know your wife's situation. I don't know your son's situation yet. So we're going to spend some time together. Okay. And he was like, okay. Yeah, I like that. Sounds good. So I knew to do that. Well, going through it, I had Christopher on to start some of the applications, do some of it so I could hop on some other calls. But what I'm seeing is in some people, they just don't understand the opportunity that they have in front of them. Just like, too, when you listen to us talk on the phone, I tell them, I was like, look, if you are on a call, if you add me to a call, I add you to a call, I'm not picking up my phone and playing with it. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm taking notes of the conversation. I remember I used to do that to you, too, where when you were training me, when you were talking, I was putting in notes. And I specifically remember this one occurrence with this lady because you were talking about how you taught at the time when you had a cat, how you taught it to use the toilet with the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm typing this whole conversation and listening, and I'm just like, okay, what's he trying to do with this here? Is he just telling a funny story? Is he trying to buy some time? Like I had to do that with Christopher, where I had to go from our prescription program over to Medicare.gov just because something just looked off to me and it wasn't lining up. So I was like, okay, let me go and I'm going to cross-reference Medicare.gov. And so I have to copy over these 10 or 15 medications. But then I went into the story about how I was sleeping this weekend and I started asking Michelle health questions.
That's a good story too.
But as something to stall, so it's not just dead airspace conversation. You're still building that relationship. You're making them laugh. It's a great encounter. But in the end, why am I doing that? So I can copy everything over and they don't notice.
Right.
So I think it deals with a lot of not only the urgency that, hey, there's a lot of money out there to be made. When can I start? How fast can I start? And also just the opportunity in front of you. Because it kind of goes hand in hand.
We've had talks a little bit about this in the past because you and I have a very unique mindset. Mm-hmm. More than anything in the world, I hate to lose. Mm-hmm. You're the same way. Winning's fine. Everyone mm-hmm. wants to win. Not everyone. It's mm-hmm. easier not to lose. Yeah. Just ask Floyd Mayweather, right? He just doesn't lose those fights.
Yeah.
So, but also, it's less work, but also a lot of people love winning. They just don't do it, mm-hmm. right? They don't put the work in. Whereas if I go into my brain and go, this is a loss statement, this is an opportunity in front of me, I'm going to lose it. I work really hard for it, mm-hmm. right? The problem that you encounter is that not a lot of people have that mindset. Not a lot of people are really conscientious, man. Mm-hmm. They're just not. And the other problem is that like your experience right now where you're so busy, you got Christopher that's helping you out on 6 apps, but you got 2 other people right there. And what are they doing to take that load off of you?
Mm-hmm. And I'm sending stuff over to them, but then I ask them, hey, did you call this person? No, I haven't got to it yet.
Right.
Okay, why?
Right. So then instead of actually handling it and saying, why aren't you doing what I tell you to? Mm-hmm. Because you need to help me out and make yourself money because that's money for you. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you doing that? Right. You're just taking it back on and calling yourself. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it's not even just a matter of this generation. What it really is also a matter of how we're interacting with them. Because we have to set forth that expectation. This is not a request. Mm-hmm. And if it's not a request, then you're in a loss scenario because if it doesn't get done, you're accountable for it. Mm-hmm. So where's the accountability there? Right? You can't just, I know you, man, you're a lot like me. You'll just do it. Mm-hmm. But there has to be the other thing of, hey, I had to do this, and that was your mission. Now, I'm not going to fail my mission, mm-hmm. but I'm going to hold you accountable if you didn't contribute to the completion of those missions because you're paid to do that.
Yeah.
So this is one of the cruxes. This is one of the reasons I don't like W-2, because at that point I'm technically leasing their time, right? Whereas I love 1099 because it's about work product. That's why I'm 1099. I'll get my stuff done. Might take me 60 hours a week. Might take me 20. I'll get it done, and I'll have more time to do more stuff. But dude, my time's way too valuable to put a price on it. That's why I came up with the concept of the 3 Ps, man.
What are the 3 Ps?
It's about income. You want something that's passive, right? You want something that's plentiful.
Yeah.
And you want something that's persistent.
Recession proof.
Right.
Yep.
High retention rate. Builds, doesn't go down. So, but to do that, you got to put in the work. That ends up being a goal. The problem is that conceptually speaking, it's not gonna go through to everybody, man. It's just not. I mean, and it's not supposed to. It's just.
I mean, you go back to your what's your not bell curve, but what's your where 5% of people do the work, or what was it again?
The solo prices law.
Prices law. That's what it is.
And that's the square root of any production center does 50% of the actual production. So you got 2 people, well, it's 1-on-1. You got 4 people, then it's 2 doing 50, still even. The bigger it gets, bigger it gets. But one of the other things we have too is that we in our industry, especially in Medicare, have this notion of AEP, because it does get busier, and we don't have enough time to train new people to cycle out people that aren't being productive. So we kind of sit with them, right? The problem is that we have to be on guard. We have to know that it's been unacceptable. We have to sit there and go, dude, this is the A-team in this office. You want to pull some of that lackadaisical crap? Well, go work remote. We'll adjust your contract, have fun. But we can't have that. And we got to cut it out right away. And a lot of agencies, sales floors, institutions, they go, oh, after this quarter, after this, then we'll adjust. And they kind of go, it's a little bit slow right now. And then there's always a reason not to make changes. There's always a reason not to make cuts. There's always a reason not to make a correction. The problem is that's how you lose. You have to keep it going. That's why our teams don't get big. That's why you don't see me sweat it when people are like, I want to leave. Well, fine. You're doing my job for me at that point. You're not conscientious enough to actually make this happen. If I'm half an idiot, all right, and I can still make this happen, and I made this happen without any of the tools we have, very, very fundamental, like foundations of the tools we built over time. If I can figure it out, anyone can. The question of the matter is, will you? But I can't hold you, and I can't motivate anyone. This whole concept of motivating people to be great is foreign.
It's not. We talked about it. We talked about that this morning as we talked about some of the W-2s and stuff like that after AEP. But I kind of told them that I've told some people that have started here. This was one of the first things that I've ever said to them is, look, it's great that you want to be courageous and take a leap, so to say, in starting this, business for yourself, because that's what it is. It's a business for you that you can take with you anywhere. But I go, this is what I want you to be aware of, though. I don't want you to be so pseudo confident that you're like, I can do this, when you really can't. Because all you're going to do is you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to put yourself into a hole, and you're going to lie to yourself saying, maybe I think I can do this, and you're going to be 3 weeks in with no sales and no money and bills piling up. And then what's going to happen? You're going to start blaming people other than yourself because you did not have the self-realization to go through that situation when you first made the decision of, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Because it goes down to, a lot of people, they don't take fault in their own actions. It's always got to be somebody else. I live with the person like that. Okay. Everything is always somebody else's fault.
Right now?
Yes. It's never her fault. Like, here's an example too. And Buckley,
she's watching this. You know that, right?
I'll ask you this here. I don't think she's out walking the dogs here. So we're at Turkey Creek Trail in Austin with the dogs on Sunday. We took Maggie for the first time because we were like, She's old. We don't know how she's a little crotchety sometimes with other dogs. And I go, you know what? It's cold. There's not going to be that many people there. Let's take her. Okay. Maggie had the best time. She was hanging out. But we made a pact where I was like, okay, look, you hang out in the back. I'll walk in the front because she's blind and deaf. So she ain't going to hear nothing or see nothing. She's just going to hang out where everybody is. But that way we don't lose her. Okay. Like the last half mile, you know, I'm talking to the guy beside me. We're talking about something, just walking the trail. And I know I'm in front of her and I look back and I'm like, I don't see her. Huh. So I turn around, start walking back a little bit, and she's over this hill probably like 200 yards away. She just looks pissed. And I go, okay, what's going on? So I walk back. I was like, what are you doing back here? And she's like, well, I tried to get you to help. And I go, how? She goes, I tried to get your attention, but it didn't work. And I go, okay, did you yell? She goes, yeah, I yelled. And I go, well, nobody heard you because we're a group and nobody notified me for me to go back. And I go, okay, did you call my phone? She goes, well, no. And I go, okay, so how was I supposed to know that the dogs, you walked past the dogs and you had to go back and get them? And she goes, well, you should have known. You should have looked. And I was like, no, stand my ground here. Equality, 2022. All right. But it's that type of mindset that, you know, some people come in and do this where they'll come in and they'll say, you know, I think I have enough confidence in myself to do this.
Well, the fact that you said think,
exactly,
you don't have
exactly. It. Think means you don't, but you'll go a week and you won't sell anything. You'll go 2 weeks, you won't sell anything. And at that point, 2 weeks in, you got to say, it ain't me, cuz it's somebody else. It's somebody else's problem that this is happening. It's the leads. It's the CRM. It's programs that are running. It's contracts. Whatever this imaginary excuse is to not make it yourself, that's what happens. That's why I tell people that before they begin to. I'm like, look, if you're going to make this decision, you got to make this decision.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to start where you are head down running from the beginning. Because if you half-ass it, if you briskly walk from the beginning, if you don't start like that, you're never going to get anywhere in this because it will chew you up and it will spit you out right away.
That's everything in life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why when we look at applicants for internal, I look at their job history. I don't necessarily look at their jobs. I look at the cycle and frequency at which they change them. Right? I see a bunch of 6-month jobs for a 35-year-old. You know, what success are you having?
I just got a text message from Cody Askins. Thanks, Cody.
I have. That's.
But yeah, back to back to it. That's really, you know, you talk about, you know, urgency, opportunity, seeing what's in front of you. You have to be able to kind of cut through it and see it for what it really is.
Well, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, and I mean really work at it, not just work on it. You got to work. Most people approach their careers or their skill set to be successful as their careers like a 7-year-old approaches cleaning their bedroom. Mm-hmm. I'm cleaning. Look, I just cleaned. You know, it's like it's something I just have to do. I don't want to do it, right? And the people that are really good want to get good. They want to get good. They want to be successful. They want to have things. There's a big problem that you encounter in the world where it's what's the old saying? First generation starts it, second generation builds it, third generation loses it. Mm-hmm. Well, the third generation's never been hungry. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's, again, goes to that. Listen, the world itself does not give a damn about you. The world is an inanimate object, and it's a very cold and dangerous inanimate object. Right? So if you were poor and you've made money, you know you don't want to be poor again. If you are wealthy and been wealthy your whole life, you better understand what it's like to be poor and know that you don't want to do that. Now, if you are currently poor and you are persistently poor and you just can't get a leg up, sometimes people got bad luck. Sometimes people have other issues, sometimes that. But you probably want to go ahead and say, I need to find something that I can be good at and become the best at it. I know a guy that's worth over $10 million. You know what he's done his whole life?
Trash man.
No. dug ditches.
Yeah.
Literally excavation. Started off with a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a bright man. He knows it.
Boy can dig a hole, though.
He can dig. You know what he started doing? How do I build a better one? Okay, I need to get a piece of equipment. I need to do this. Oh, I got to hire a guy. Oh, I don't know anything about starting an LLC. I better go ahead and talk to someone else. I need to hire an accountant. I need to do all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he does? He just solves the next problem in front of his head and figures something out. And he is not bright.
No.
I mean, he is like Forrest Gump. And he is a great man. And he does this. And you know what? He got 60 people working for him. He has a multi-state construction company, or not construction company, but excavation and dirt moving company. Handles millions of dollars a year. Does major products, stadiums and stuff. He starts off with a shovel. One. And he's not being facetious when he says it. It's just, I just wanted to do a little bit more, a little bit faster, a little bit better every day. You can do that. So if you can become a multimillionaire digging a ditch, I'm pretty sure you can become a multimillionaire helping people out with their insurance. The question is, are you going to approach it like what it really is, which is an actual career? And this is what he has. And by the way, he didn't stick with it because it's what he liked doing. He doesn't like doing it. He stuck with it because he knew that's what he could do. So if that man can sit there and go, this is me, I got to make this work, and then get to that level, then I don't really have any, pity for people that are infinitely capable.
Oh, yeah.
And just saying, well, I just really don't want to work at it. Well, I can tell you right now, this world's about to get a lot colder. It's about to get a lot harder. You think that, you have juggernauts right now laying off tens of thousands of people. Those highly skilled, because they are highly skilled people, are going to be flooding the market. They're going to be flooding the market like in places like Austin. They're going to be flooding in all these major areas. So you think that your lazy ass, with your moderate skills, are going to be able to compete with those guys who are willing to take that pay cut because they need something, because those are highly conscientious people. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure these places had a lot of hangers on because, again, price is law. But they aren't cutting just the bottom 5 to 20% or the lowest producers. They're cutting entire divisions. So there's going to be a flood on the market of highly capable, highly motivated, get it done people. So you better change your mentality real quick because your job is not secure. Not with that amount of workforce coming in.
It's terrible.
Just lock the bottom of it.
And it's already broken.
That's the thing. So maybe you shouldn't be looking at, well, I just don't like, maybe you should be looking at, I don't want to lose.
It's funny. We were talking about, I was telling a story about me working at the hockey team over here. And it was one where I was getting, my main goal at the time there was to retain season ticket holders. And for that, I would make like 2% off of retaining them. And then if I retained enough percentage, then I got like a $6,000 bonus.
Right.
That's how it was. Well, not only was that my goal, I also had to sell new season tickets and then group tickets. That was the three things that we had to do. So my main focus was retention, then season tickets, then group tickets. And we had people that were doing, your own department I'm talking about here that does group tickets. Well, what I learned pretty quickly is, and a lot of people didn't see the opportunity in front of them, is that we could offer individual tickets at group rate. Now, in the flyer, it said 10 or more. But if you just wanted to go yourself, I can sell you one individual ticket. It bypasses Ticketmaster. There are no service fees. There is no taxes. Standard price for a ticket might be $27. I can offer it for you to $15 and immediately have it emailed over. All I need is a card to put it on. That's it. So when I first started seeing that, and I go, why are more people not focusing on this here? This is an easy thing. Like, for example, and this is just numbers wise, like my goal for renewing season tickets, it'd be about $500,000, of revenue that I'm responsible for. Do you know what my group goal would be? Like 10K.
Right.
Okay. That's how low it is. But in my mind, I already have the retention thing locked up. I was doing that every year. New stuff. The easiest way I found to sell season tickets was, say you have one seat, the seat next to you opens up, somebody doesn't renew it. You know who I call? I don't go through a list. I call you and I say, hey, do you have a buddy that you want to watch every game with?
Yeah. It's already there, and or not. Or some of them don't even want the money; they just want to sit next
or
to
just
somebody.
I've had people buy 3 seats and sit in the middle.
Right.
But
I've done that.
So
Nachos on one side, beer on the other. Leave me alone.
Yeah. So when it came to my like my breakthrough in my head here, I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting paid a 10% commission of this ticket. Now, $15 ticket, really easy, get $1.50. But in my head here, okay, I sell $1,000 worth of tickets, which is not too many when your tickets range from 15 to 75. You know, you can get to 1,000 really quickly. But in my head, I'm thinking here, okay, I get 10% of this. This isn't my main goal. I'm not going to waste my time doing business to business pitches and stuff like that. What market do I have in front of me? I have the individual market. So you know what it did was with our system, I was able to make a code Jacob. So what that means is that anybody, almost like Emeritus does now, where you have a link and you go to the link, you put in code Jacob, you get your discounted tickets, you get 4 of them, they get instantly emailed to you, you put your card in, pay for them, boom. I had to do nothing.
Yeah, you created an affiliate marketing program.
And
yourself.
I just got 10%, and I just got $10 out of that $100 sales. So it's not only going towards that goal, but I'm also getting paid for it. So in my mind here, everybody was so focused for group stuff going to businesses, charities, foundations, stuff like that. And I go,
it's like agents chasing annuities.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
I go, where can I make the most? And this is kind of, it's funny too, because it's not lazy people, but it's people that you work hard so you don't have to work hard. You know what I mean? That's it. Where I go, how can I get this to be the most efficient email blast ever? Where I don't have to pick my phone up. It is making passive income for me. I still have my other income. This is just off the top here. But my emails, when I based them, everybody was basing them on like the promotions. Like, hey, we're throwing teddy bears. It's Veterans Night, everything like that. My whole schematic that I had was, you hate Ticketmaster, I hate Ticketmaster.
That's the key. That's the key.
You don't like paying extra fees, do you? You don't like paying taxes, do you? Mm-hmm. No. So this $15 ticket that you clicked on turns into $35. And so you have a family of 4. That's an extra $120 in fees. Guess what? I'll take those away and I'll make it even cheaper for you.
Right.
So that family of 4 is now going for $60 instead of $200.
And now they're going every day because they like sticking it to the man and they like winning.
And they're passing it around. So in that case there, I got to be so prolific in that like I told you, my goal for the year was like $10,000 worth of ticket sales. So basically that's $1,000 in my pocket, right? I was pulling in $5,000 a game.
Right.
And there was 42 home games.
Right.
Off of an email blast.
Right. And by the way, they were already buying the rest of the tickets every week anyway. Because they go, I have something unique. This is something that I am just crushing it at. Screw those guys. And this is now my secret. And they're passing it to their friends.
Mm-hmm. And there was people that were, I mean, their job was group sales that had goals of $200,000 that would only sell 40 or 50 and then get fired. And I'm there with a goal of 10 and I'm at $300,000 on top of everything. So I'm over $1 million.
That's actually why they got fired.
Yeah, I'm over $1 million worth of revenue.
They see your goal and they go, well, he's doing this much. Why isn't Tom doing that? And that goes back to what I've said just about these big juggernauts firing off a lot of good people. They're going to flood the market. People that are in their jobs right now thinking they're secure, they're not for long. Someone's going to come lap them and they can make them look bad.
And that was the moment that I realized where I was like, maybe I am kind of good at this. Well, I mean, you know, like sales and stuff in general, I was like, this is something where this is passive income that I just made. That is not only am I getting $20,000-$30,000 more of commission by sending out an email, but I'm also allowing myself to, because what I did after that was, guess what? I saw you bought from my link 6 or 7 times throughout the year. Guess what I'm going to do in the summer? I'm going to say, hey, Frank, do you want to come to the arena? You want to tour while nobody's in here while it's the off season? They go, yeah, okay. Guess what you're going to leave with? Season tickets.
Right.
So
you are a fan.
So it's because you're a fan now because you went 6 or 7 times. You know Jacob. When you think of hockey, you think Jacob. So I went from individual buyer to season ticket to then full.
So this is the big thing right here. And this is what sets a lot of people apart when it comes to sales. you and I are really good at systems, right? You created a system. Sales is just a system. People themselves are just systems. That's all it is. Different processes for accomplishing different goals and different things, right? But it's all something you can figure out. It's something that you can actually manipulate or build. So and also even Ticketmaster, that's just a system to put in extra fees so some third-party distribution network can get money. Same thing with FMOs in our industry, right? That's all it is. It's an extra middleman that you don't need. Especially in today's modern age, you don't need to do that. Anyone can set up a website for $12 a month. I don't understand why, right? So we have all these things in here, and figuring out systems is something that someone only really conscientious and can actually want to work at something can do. Everyone else just does activity, but people that are conscientious and want to actually make something of themselves try to figure something out. So the other issue that you run into is the same thing with leads. Now, Ticketmaster is a good example. Right now, there are a lot of agents running around getting just screwed royally because they're spending a lot of money on leads that are not leads.
They are not.
They are not leads. Okay. And that's because extra middlemen have been put into the process. Therefore, there has to be another VIG, another take, another level. So that extra level is what's driving up price and driving down quality because everyone's going to maximize their profit. So that means the quality of the data goes down. Off the list that I pull, which I will not disclose how much we pay for those. The list that I pull with the data and the selections that I put in there, right? What do you think? What is the factor? How many more do you think we sell than we do off live transfer leads?
Oh, it's definitely a whole lot more than any other lead source that we have.
Right. And that's our baseline list. Right. So, but it's about a system. One of the things that we look at is like you went and penetrated a market no one else is trying to get to. Right? You were approaching people that no one else is approaching who are a huge revenue source. The thing, and also it happens in sales. No agents outside of our office really selling final expense on subs. They don't think they know how. It's 3 sentences. It's very easy. You even came up with another way to do a paradigm shift in the person that or Overton window shift as far as what the product really is. You came up with that. It was brilliant. Who takes care of you? Well, you better take care of them, right? It's these kind of things. They're not revolutionary. They're just basic interactions and puzzle solving. And the problem is, but you have to work at a puzzle. And like you said earlier, a lot of people don't have that in them. And listen, 200 years ago, there was a kid with a hoop and a stick running around, and there was an old timer going, this generation with their fancy hoops on sticks. We didn't even have hoops.
We didn't have sticks,
right?
Logs.
And then it was Nintendo for our generation. Then it was your PS4 for your generation or PS2.
I'm not that young.
Or whatever.
I started Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
Sonic.
Well, back in my day, Atari 7800.
Is that too old? Sega Genesis too old?
I might have Genesis.
That's our generation, Sega Genesis.
Was that the black and blue console?
My generation's more like, I was poor, so it wasn't even like the old Atari 7800.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Nintendo
You're
1.
playing on the Commodore.
First,
we get it.
First 2 games, Sonic, number 1. Second one, take a wild guess what it was. It's a very easy guess.
Altered Beast.
NHL 94.
Oh, I should have known. I should have known.
But think about that. So those same people that figure out those systems, though, are the same people that can figure out human behavior because it's just a system. They're also the people that figure out opportunity. They figure out where to find leads. They figure out where to find these things. We teach people this stuff, and I will be very honest with you. Most of the people that we will flat out tell exactly what to do. This will work. Won't do it. They just won't. And I don't know. And by the way, fine, live your best life. I do get a little bit flustered sometimes because I talk to people every day that want to be able to accomplish what I've accomplished and live the life that I live, or have the freedom and the ability to do what I do. Unfortunately, I'll tell them exactly what to do. Our systems are set up just to do that. They won't do it. And then you hear, oh, it's just the industry. It's just bad. No. I'm an agent, just like you.
I wish I would have brought my phone in here because I saw it this morning. I forgot what it was on, but it was some advertisement that I'm not going to say the agency. I would show you guys, but I wouldn't show the camera here just because of how ridiculous this is. It was a Facebook ad that they were running. and it looked like somebody made it in Microsoft Word after a binger.
Nice.
I mean, clip art, 17, 18 different pictures, 19 different fonts, everything like that. Basically what it was a Thanksgiving drive-through giveaway for anybody 64 and above. And I'm like, sketchy. Like, what are you giving away drive-through? And it was like a grocery drive-through. And I'm like, okay, number one, sketchy. Number two, they were raffling off 6 turkeys if you come to this. And I go, okay, we're getting even more illegal here. Then after that, and they go, oh, we're also raffling off 2 TVs. And I'm like, somebody in compliance is going to love talking to you here because you're giving away TVs. And I even looked in their profile picture. It's just these 3 people with a picture of them handing a TV to somebody. And I'm like, this is the sketchiest marketing.
Are they selling supplements or they're selling Advantage plans?
They're selling anything Medicare. So I'm just like, this is real sketchy. But when you look at it, they have people clicking on it. And I'm like, of course they click on it because guess the type of people. You and me we're having this conversation. Yeah, you were having this conversation yesterday where you talk to people like at organizations that that are like, yeah, man, I'm closing 10, 15 a day. And you're like, great, what are they? And they're like, they're D-SNP plans. Well, you get these big corporations, that's the bottom of the barrel type stuff there. That's the ones, if they can switch every 4 months, they're going to switch every 4 months, every 3 months, whatever it can be, they're going to do that because they are trained to see the word free and trained to see the word benefits and think, oh, I'm missing something out. That's the lowest of the low.
And it's also the cheapest opportunity cost.
Exactly.
So anyone that's been, and if you get into this and they're like, well, I sell a lot because that's the leads I get from like my uplines or my company or everything else, then I'm sorry, but your company is not spending any effort or money or time on you because that is, let's go to big population centers. Let's just market to everybody, poor people, and say free shit. And if you think that's a good idea and a marketable long-term solution, well, let's look at real estate. Let's look at automotive. Let's look at all these other industries that don't do that. They don't go free anything. They go great deal, savings of this. You're not going to go. When since like 1974, have you ever seen a car dealer go, we're giving away? No, they just go, you can save this much. You can walk out with this door. It's a great vehicle.
This is. I saw this on Twitter. I wonder if they've already released it for this year. It might have been last year. It was an SNL skit, but it was making fun of like the Christmas car commercials.
Oh, the Lexus.
So the Lexus one.
Yeah,
Have you seen this?
No.
So what it is, it's a spoof of a Lexus commercial. So you look at all the car commercials end of the year. They do the holiday discounts or whatever, but it's always like lavish house in Colorado with snow and border collies and Bernese mountain dogs, and it's this beautiful car, right? Yeah. So SNL did a spoof of it. And the husband goes to the wife and he's like, hey, just wanted you to know, I've got you something super special for Christmas. She opens up the box and it's a Lexus key fob. She was like, no, you didn't. He goes, come outside. And they go outside, beautiful car, shiny, big red bow. And he's like, I got you a car, babe. And then it's the wife and the son. And she's like, in disbelief, she's like, no, you didn't. He's like, I got you a car for Christmas. And then this is the SNL part where it comes in. She was like, David, we have no money. Why did you give me a car? And he was like, there's the holiday discounts. I got you the car. And then she's like, you haven't had a job since March of last year. And then the kid was like, Dad, you don't work? And he's like, it's complicated. Like COVID really messed it up. But like that is what I equate to them marketing to these decent people to where it's like, look at all this free stuff. Looky here, this Lexus car commercial. You don't see Lexus going, hey, do you make less than $1,000 a month? Yeah. Boy, do I have a car for you. Yeah. No, they don't, because what do they want? They want your money. They want these lavish cars. They want you to spend $70,000, $80,000 on a car, not $10,000, because then they get more money.
It's a different value proposition.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And by the way, all of these other programs that they're marketing to people for free, including zero premium. And That's not a huge population in the United States. It's a highly densely populated one. It's easy to market to. It has a higher return on your marketing dollars as far as clicks and stuff, because they're just sitting around on their ass all day because they don't have a job and they're just trying to get stuff and trying to survive. That's it. However, the vast majority, I mean, think about this. Unemployment in this country is in single digits. Okay? There are literally people that are, the percentage of people that are mentally incapacitated. In other words, all right, there are more of those people in this country than there are unemployed.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a very small market that keeps on cannibalizing itself for free stuff over and over and over again. Early enrollments, early terminations, all this other stuff. So the vast majority of the rest of the market in the world is not being marketed to because they don't respond to the easy stuff. So when we look at all these things, right, for the marketers and for the lead generators and lead resellers, that's great. I spend almost nothing on those leads because no one else is trying to market to them. They're not having to compete for space against Lexus. They're not having to compete for space against Ford. They're not having to compete against Keller Williams Realty. Those people aren't in those markets. But Google doesn't know that. And Google just puts an ad in front of a set of eyeballs. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's huge amounts of data in
They're doing their best.
But it goes eyeballs there. So if I'm having to pay for those IBUs against those other ones, that's great. So these marketers go, I just want to have free stuff. Well, all these other things that you have to pay for aren't marketing free shit. Great. Yeah. I'll do that. The problem is that really most of the other parts of the country, for example, our list right now are only in areas where there's no Medicare Advantage plans or there's just a low adoption.
And I was gonna say that too. That they go hand in hand.
Right. So these people want to buy something,
and they have the money to buy something. They just do not have the availability to buy a Advantage plan.
Right. And no one is talking to them. And it's not just the availability. It's not that Advantage plans aren't there. Mm-hmm. It's the adoption rate is low, meaning that the clients are not buying them. Okay. We're not marketing to the poorest neighborhoods in Baltimore. Right. So we're going to rural areas, higher income areas, all these other areas. These people do not want Advantage plans. They exist in those areas. Mm-hmm. They have the zero premium. They have DSNP programs, but the adoption rate and the purchase rate's very low. The reason is because, and by the way, these people are calling, talk to them, I listen to the calls. They go, I have no idea about anything Medicare and no one's talked to me because no one else is getting your lead. Mm-hmm. No one else is taking the time to find you like I did. They're not even looking. They're not even ad spending in those areas. So, and that, again, is another system. It just takes a little bit of time to figure it out. But there's not a whole lot of money for middlemen like Ticketmaster in that. Mm-hmm. Why? I can just go pull that and market it myself. That's what I do. Yeah. Right? So those little things that are in there, you can put all of this stuff in front of everybody. You can just make it easy for them. You can do this. They're not going to take it. It goes back to your original thing. There's just certain people are going to get it. You get it. You get it. Victoria gets it. A few other people in the office get it. There's a reason why you guys are leadership in the company. It's because you guys set yourself apart, not because we had an idea of if it's going to work. We just sat there and said, who's rising to the top and actually gets it? Well, that's y'all. All right. More assumed responsibility, authority, and more money. So everyone else, it's not their fault. They're not doing bad. You have some great agents out there. Then some of them are going to end up being great leaders too, eventually, once that clicks in them. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, it's never going to click. And in this industry, you don't have to be talented. You certainly don't have to be attractive. You don't have to have a lot of natural skill sets.
You're a very attractive man.
I'm not. I was actually using myself as the example.
That's what I'm saying. You are an attractive man.
He did that for the compliment.
No, I didn't. No, you don't have to be attractive. You don't have to be incredibly intelligent. You don't have to be anything. You just have to know how to work at it. And how to work at it part is something that a lot of people will never have. So that's it. So anyone that wants to try, that's fine. I think that you said earlier is really important. You should commit. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone wants to try to be a pro athlete. Everyone wants to try to be an astronaut. There's 1% of 1% for a reason. Those guys actually put the work in.
And I think fall back on that too, as my kind of career progresses here, I've noticed that recently here, at least the past 2 weeks there, where anybody that is deemed challenging or like, we don't know what the heck's going on here. And they always just go, let me get it over to Jacob. And I'm like, I never just get the layup. Like sometimes, I want to run a draw play and I'm the lineman here and I fake pass block. And guess what? There's just nobody in front of me to block. Instead of chipping the nose tackle, going to the second level, then going to the third level so we can get 11 yards. And I blocked 3 different levels of people. I'm like, okay. But what I've noticed is with my approach for those here, it's actually paid off quite a bit because like the conversation I had today where it was actually one of our agents on the floor was talking with this lady and she was just confused. Like she has a supplement, but she got a scope of appointment and she had a code and all this stuff like this. And then Chris was like, look, can you just talk to her? And I was like, okay. So I was like, I did the thing where I'm like, hey, look, you're not new to us here because I have some information, but you're new to me. So we're going to start from ground one. Okay. What do you have? Went through Medicare. She has a plan in. Do you know how this works? And she's like, kind of, but not really. And I go, okay, go get a piece of paper.
All right.
And people aren't going to do that. They're going to go, okay, how much are you paying for your plan in? Okay, let's see if we can get that lower.
Because
Guess what I'm doing this afternoon at 3:00 here? I'm writing them into AARP Plan F. Do you know why?
Because she knows how it works now.
Because they used to have a Plan F. And she goes, I think at one time, and we were looking at like Aetna, we were looking at Aetna for a plan in to lower the premium. She was
the guy that got her on the planet just wanted to sell her on price. That's why she got
Yeah.
it.
And so then I went to, she's like, yeah, we used to have this thing that covered everything with AARP. And I was like a Plan F? And she goes, I think it was. Did you have to pay anything out of pocket when you went to the doctor? She's like, no. I was like, okay, so you didn't have a copay. Did you have any deductible? No. And I go, yeah, you had a Plan F. And she goes, man, we really liked it. And then that's when it clicked in me, and I'm like, all right, direction change here. Yeah, you know what? When I talk to people, the older they get, the less that they want to deal with deductibles. The less
so crazy.
The less they want to deal with
really
copays,
hard for
everything
new
like
agents
that.
to understand.
And she was 82.
Yeah.
Now again, she had COPD and AFib, but we're in Vermont, so AARP is open enrollment year round.
Yep.
Holy crap! Are you serious?
Yeah, AARP and Mutual of Omaha are both open enrollment
Year round.
But here's the thing: Aetna and Cigna and Humana are all underwritten.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, a Plan F with AARP was $247. A Plan G with AARP is $199.
They're also all community rated.
A plan, so everybody pays the same. A Plan
Right.
N is $176.
Right.
Whereas you look at Aetna, where a Plan F is $180, $140, and then like $100.
Right. But that rate increase is going to be skyrocketing.
No, they're community
Community
rated.
rated is the most stable rates.
No, I know, but I mean, all carriers are
Yeah.
community rated. Okay.
The state
I
mandates.
I know that.
I have
thought it was just
had
ARP.
people in Vermont. I do really well in Vermont.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because you're from there.
I'm not from
Well, your
Vermont.
family,
Exactly,
quote
but I can
unquote.
use it. Yeah,
You
just
know.
like you're from Philly in Florida. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Same, but different. But anyways, continue.
but
It's both crazy.
but going over it with them too, she was like, I just liked it because we didn't have to deal with anything. And I go, look, in my experience here, this took a few years for me to set in, but the older people get, the less they want to worry, the less they want to be nickel and dimed and pull your checkbook out, all this other stuff. Let me pull up AARP and let me just take a look here.
Right.
And she goes, okay, that sounds good. And she goes, man, I really want this Plan F. But then again, too, this is another promo we have to do. She was like, I want it for me and my husband. And I go, okay. But, Sally, your husband's not there. So when is your husband going to be home? Because I don't want to do this with just you and wait for him.
Mhm.
I want him to be on the conversation. I want him to look over the chart. I want him to ask me questions. I want him to be involved in everything because it's an us thing. It's not a you and then you talk for him. So when is he going to be? She was like, he's going to be here this afternoon. I was like, okay, what time? She was like, I want you to call me at 2:00 and you can enroll both of us in the AARP.
Right.
What will I need?
Yep. Medicare card, medications. Go.
Not even medications, Medicare card, checking account.
I still want to do medications. I want to get those updated in our system.
We kind of went through some of them, but like learning that opportunity in front of me to not go, well, no, you're stupid for going to a Plan F.
Right.
Plan N is Plan N is Plan N. No, that's not after she had a realization. That's not what she wanted.
Again, you're looking at sales and individuals as a system. It's to be figured out. You said something that really made me happy and proud. First off, we tend to lead by example here.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what I do, see what I do. You'll make your own little changes and stuff like that, but I want to see you make it work. When you first started, you were training with me. You were sitting there with me, and it was a different model from you. You already had a lot of natural ability. You already had a lot of sales skills and stuff like that. But what did you say the other week? So you said something, you were joking with me, you were busting my balls, but at the same time, you were kind of like, I was pulling a Frank Bryant when it comes to the intro, calling new people.
Oh, yeah, I said that yesterday where I'm like, hey, man, it's Jake here.
Yeah.
I'm like, no Medicare gurus. Hey, just got a request for help. So what's going on? Just as nonchalantly as possible. Just like I would dap you up over the phone, and then we'd bro hug at the end of it.
Right.
When we're done. But then it kicks in when you're like 6 minutes into the conversation. You're like,
you haven't even talked about what you're here for.
You're Joe Cool going into the intro. You know, your old Camel posters with the sunglasses and the cigarette here, that type of cool. And you're into the conversation where other people get hung up on you. You're just like, hey man, what's up? Like, oh hey, I respect that. Cool.
Just watching a Nebraska game. I'm like, dude, what is up? You know?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing.
Go red.
But that is a system itself, right? And being able to recognize and build off of that is what makes the difference. But you have to be able to actually take those steps to do it. I mean, that's kind of stuff's not even in our scripting. Kind of is, but not really. And that's the thing. The people around here, there's going to be a lot of them, and there always is that they'll do exactly what you tell them to. They won't learn anything. It's only the people that actually go out and take that proactive measure to learn something. Those are the people that are conscientious enough to actually make it. And everyone can have some success, but I mean, make it.
Well, and try things.
Right.
If you're running.
And try things in a systemic manner.
Yeah, you don't just dump everything and then go rogue and go on your own. That's what doesn't work. But that one, like I tell you, like the first few times where I just went like no company name, nothing about even some of them, I didn't even say, hey, I got your request for help with Medicare. I was like, yeah, man, just got a request for help. What's going on? Because you never know where it's going to lead to. Like the first few times when we're like 5 or 6 minutes in and they're telling me about Betty Joe and Betty Sue and everything like that. And then I'm just thinking to myself as I'm listening, I was like, I feel kind of dirty. But like in a good way, you know, it's not like slimy, it's not sleazy, it's not salesy, it's none of that things. It's because I genuinely want to have a conversation with you.
Right.
So I'm approaching it as we are peers. Right. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me.
Right.
If you refer to me as, you have to call me Mr. Bryant, you have to call me Mr. Crotty.
That's it. And I will put that law right there, right then. That's especially true for doctors, lawyers. Had an ambassador once.
Nice.
And it's, no. I don't care. We are not going to do this. I'm not going to kiss your ass. I'm not going to be beat up by you. I'm not going to talk down to you or condescend to you or lie to you either. We're gonna be friends by the end of this.
We're gonna be equals.
By the way, the guys that actually push back, right? It's mostly guys that do it, but the guys that push back, by the end of it, they ask, "Can I call you Jacob?" Only if I can call you Tom. And they're like, "Man, I like you."
And then the rom-com.
Yeah. Then Paul Rudd pops his head in from the background somewhere and says something silly, you know.
Paul Rudd's great.
Slap a debate.
So we are at 12:53. Stephen, do you have anything to add here? Because you came in and just started listening.
I'm glad I did. I mean, I just was coming in. I had a record morning. I had 5 recruiters.
Nice.
That unbelievable. And you know what it is? It's, yes, my pitch is getting more refined, but it's like they're all looking for the same thing. They're tired of getting screwed by the man.
Right. So this is how you say, this is how you don't get screwed anymore.
Right.
This is your opportunity.
Yeah. Now you can get screwed in a good way.
Yeah. And how is it working now that they're starting to send stuff over to you instead of you running through the entire gambit yourself?
No, that's why I was in here. Like Mason is walking through an application right now.
Right. Saves you some time, gets you up to 5 a day than 2.
Right. Exactly. It helps a lot.
We got a few more steps. We're going to get it on there. We're going to be able to pull in about 100 agents pretty quickly.
Okay. No, I'm glad it's moving on. But just to add to, I know we want to get out here. You guys had a great conversation. But, I think when it comes to effort, there's got to be, and this is the word I used a lot today, is authenticity. When you're doing your thing, we're doing our thing, we want to have conversations with these people, not because we want to sell them something, but because we want to know what's going on. I've had more conversations of, oh, yeah, dude, you're in the right place. Yeah, just give me coffee, need anything. More of those than closing. And it's not because I'm trying to sell them something, it's because I'm being genuine with them, So that's why I like that authenticity that we try and
just remember, you're not selling a product, you're not selling a service, you're not even selling a company. They don't give a damn about Medicare gurus.
Right.
What they care about is you.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself. That's it.
Yep.
So you might as well be as good a product as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll wrap up on. Sell yourself. I had a guy that I had to talk to this morning. He's in New Jersey, and I sold him an Aetna plan, a final expense plan, and a supplement when he turned 65 last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's calling in because the dentist that he's trying to go to that aren't taking Aetna. So I said, okay, what dentist are you going to? We need to call them, figure out what they're taking. Okay. So it turns out in this particular area, they only take Cigna, United Healthcare, and Delta. Okay. But it scared me because they said we take Cigna PPO, United Healthcare PPO. So I'm like, are you talking Advantage plan or what?
Right.
They didn't know. But so I'm like, okay, Cigna, we're contracted to do Cigna ancillary. So go type in Cigna. Cigna Dental is not offered in New Jersey.
Okay.
And I go, well, how's that possible? And then it dawns on me, and I'm like, they're talking Advantage plans.
Yeah.
So what do? I tell them, look, I'm going to get you on the line with Delta Dental because I didn't want to get them on the line with Cigna. I didn't want to get them on the line with
We didn't have
United Healthcare.
Emeritus yet.
Yeah, well, Emeritus didn't even offer there. Well, they weren't in network with the
network.
dentist. Yeah, it's a very selective network. But you know what I had to do? I go, look, okay, you cancel your Aetna dental plan, like it's not working for you. Let me get you over to Delta though, so they can enroll you in one, and you can use these two specific dentists you want to do. And people are thankful because they're going to remember that, not as like, no, don't cancel it. You need to go use it. You need to go use it. It'll work.
Go find a different dentist.
Yeah, go find different dentists. It's you. You're set on these two people. You want to use these two people. I'm not going to get in your way of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you.
Speaking of which, I wanted to ask a question on that.
Can you say the question? Because it's
we've got 3 minutes on here. So
all right. Frank question. So let's see.
No. This is specifically because we picked up Emeritus and they've been really great so far.
Mm-hmm.
How has it? Because I haven't had an opportunity to talk to a client because we've been doing recruiting and doing all these other things and also technology development. So, how has it been? How is it? From your perspective on there.
I mean, it fits into the conversation, kind of like when we had the rep from the company in here too, where it's so easy. Where somebody says, "Hey, I want something preventative," I'm like, "Done. Here you go." Or, "Hey, I got something major done. Done. Third one."
I mean, I was really excited.
Here you go.
So
it's easy, and I tell you what, I've sent that link around a few times here already. Where I'm talking to somebody like, yeah, I want to look at dental here too, or it's just like a side conversation, and I'm like, look, I got 15 calls here, and you're like, oh, I want to look at something. I'm like, Emeritus link, here you go.
I got to tell you, I've had a lot of companies come out and say they have a really great dental. They're like, oh, well, and I'm like, always like, okay, well, it's still dental, all right? Now, I was really impressed with it.
Very impressed.
And they've been really good to work with so far. So I think
they already gave me a home hookup, so I'm happy.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got paid on it next week.
Fantastic.
That's
fast.
So that is it for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you're an agent, give Stephen Grip a call, who is going to probably call you right now. If you go on our website and apply. If you're on Medicare, give me a call. I'll be out no matter what situation it is. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the day and go sell something.